Hey guys, hope you're all doing well today. So it is now the 5th, it is now the day after 4th of July. Hope everyone had a good and safe 4th of July. Today, well, for one, I stepped outside and already regret doing that. It's what, 80 degrees right now, 82, 83 degrees, and it's only 9 o'clock in the morning, 8:30, 9 o'clock. I also had to move my table from over there to right here so I can sand it and paint it, and that was a little heavy. Forgot, probably should have done that when my parents were still here. They went to go visit some family for the day. So I am going to be working on this, sanding it, getting it all primed or painted. It's gonna go from a brown to a white. I think it's gonna look really sharp. So the first thing you wanna do for any kind of a structure like this, whether it's a piece of furniture or if it's like a video game controller or a system, any kind of structure will always have a finish to it, so you want to take that finish off. I like using a very fine grit sandpaper just so I'm not leaving marks in the table, like grooves. If it's too rough of a sandpaper, you may end up leaving a lot of grooves in the table, which may show up in when you actually paint it. So you kind of want to go away from that. I'm going to take off the finish to it. We'll see what it looks like afterwards. Alright, so I am sweating bullets already. I did the top of it, got that sanded, and it had a profile for an edge, so I did that as well, sanded that. I want to make sure I'm doing everything correctly though, so I'm gonna wait to do the skirt underneath it as well as the legs until my dad gets home, and then he can help me tip it over and put it on sawhorses. This way I don't have to kill myself doing the railing and whatnot, or the legs. But what I did do, because there are two leaves with this, I'm gonna do the two leaves as well. And for anyone who doesn't understand what those are, leaves are when you can extend the table and put the leaves in the center of it. What I ended up doing is I didn't want to take a chance of any of the paint dripping into the mechanical parts of the table, so I just placed towels in between the crease where the leaves would go, just to eliminate that chance as much as possible. So I'm gonna go through and spray paint the top of this, give it one good coat, and who knows, it may only take one coat. I'm hoping it does. Once that's done, I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna set up the sawhorses and maybe start working on the leaves as well. I wanna get as much of this done as possible, but like I said, I'm gonna wait until somebody gets home and helps me flip it over and put it on the sawhorses. So I got one coat of spray paint on, and it actually looks really sharp. And if you noticed, I already did some of the legs and the skirt running underneath the bottom of the table. There's a reason for it. And I actually looked at the bottom, or the can that it was in. I was gonna say bottle. Can that was in. It says bonds to plastic. So technically speaking, did I have to sand the top of it? The answer is no. If you really want to cut corners. First of all, this looks really sharp, especially for $12.50. Once it actually fully dries, I'll do another layer on the top, and then later on today, when my dad gets home, we can flip it on top of the sawhorses, and I'll be able to do the bottom of the leg. So it works out really well. Going back to the whole sanding thing though, do you have to sand the top of it or any part of it if it has that bonding to plastic thing? Technically speaking, no, you can still get away with it. The issue is that since it's a used table, that table cost me $12.50. It being a used table, you still have the chance of it having a lot of grooves on the top of it, and all you're doing with the spray paint is adding an extra layer. You're not filling in those grooves, so you're still having a chance of maybe filling or feeling those grooves over time. If you sand it down completely and then go over it like I did with here, I made sure it was smooth to the touch over the whole top of it, where there were no grooves, no nothing. That spray paint is then going to have a flush finish on the top. It's not going to be able to show any of those those grooves or nicks or cuts in it, because they're all sanded down and they're all gone. But if you really wanted to cut corners and save yourself a lot of time, you could technically just get the bonding to plastic type that I got on the spray paint and go right over them. So I did the vlogger thing and I left my camera at home, so now we're on the phone. So hello. But yeah, I pulled in at 2:30. I thought they were supposed to be here between 3 and 5, which is what the email said, but they got here a little earlier, which was cool. They were only here for 5 minutes waiting for me. I had to stop and get gas, so it took me a little longer to get over here. But I got my couch, and my internet was at my door as well, so I get to set that up, if not today, then tomorrow, and get that all set up and going. But yeah, take a look at this couch. So it is a leather couch, not power, which I'm totally fine with. I don't need it to be power. That's more of a luxury item right now. Actually, this thing probably is a luxury item right now. But totally cool. And I left this one out just so I could show you what I really like about this. Even when it's, because the two ends recline, so even when it's not reclined and it is reclined, it's the same distance away from the wall. There's no, because my biggest fear was that with the reclining ones is that this would go back too far and it would bump up against the wall. But all it does is really slide out, which I'm totally cool with that. And it doesn't impact the distance in the wall. Overall, it's a very comfortable couch, and I'm looking forward to logging in a lot of hours with it. The thing that I'm gonna have to get used to, though, and I'm trying to get back here with enough spacing, my TV is gonna be over on that wall. So you're looking at about a 12-foot, 10 to 12 feet, I would say, in between this and the TV. The reason I went with a 65-inch, it was either going to be a 55 or a 65-inch, was because of the overall distance between the couch and the TV over there, which I think, I mean, honestly, I think that's a solid setup the way it's going to be. So I'm happy with this. All right, guys, so I'm about to head out now. Went through the boxes that I brought over, got that unpacked. I also, it was supposed to be 2 or 3 people lifting this, and I said, screw it, I'm gonna lift it myself. So I got it up. Pretty sure I can't have kids anymore. But I was able to get the cabinet up, and I'm very excited with it. It took a little bit to get it centered, but luckily enough with these, they give you enough of the fabric sticky things to go underneath it so that it can, and with the vinyl, it just literally slides across the floor. I was having an issue anchoring it to the wall. I can't anchor to the wall, basically because the baseboard is in the way. It would be very awkward. The only way I could do it, I know some TVs make it to where the anchor to the wall is almost like a wire or a string. That is what I would have to get for something like this. And I'll show you what I mean in a little bit, but basically I couldn't do the anchoring because of the baseboard being in the way. The only good thing about that is that the big one is not moving anytime soon. It would take a substantial earthquake to be able to get that thing to tip over. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this shelving setup in the comment section below. I love it. I can't wait to get this thing filled out. It's going to be a really good backdrop for vlogs and all my other videos on this channel. So what do you guys think? I love it. I absolutely love it. I think I'm gonna have my Star Wars and Lego stuff over on the left side. All my gaming stuff will be basically in the center, taking up all the center. I also need to make sure I have enough space for some of my tabletop games as well. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna fit all of that in there, but I'll try. And then on the right side, some of that's gonna be gaming, but most of it's gonna be Disney based stuff. I have a lot of Disney stuff that I can put over there. So it's gonna be Legos, Disney, video game, and tabletop gaming. And I also have my collection growing right now of pop figures. So those will be on either side, over there and over here. And for games, I think instead of having all of the controllers out and wires, what I'm thinking about doing is just putting the controller or the consoles in there with the games and keeping all the additional cords in boxes, either down here or in there when I get a storage system. So we'll see. Alright guys, so I am tired. I'm about to call it quits for tonight. Today overall was a very productive day. I got basically the office set up. Now I can just start bringing all of my office stuff up and setting it up over at the condo. The game plan for moving all of my stuff over is tomorrow we have a short get together that we have to do during the day, but afterwards we're going to, well, one, I wanted to spray paint my table or finish it tonight, but unfortunately because of the humidity, I sprayed that early this morning, and when I got home at 6:30, 7 o'clock from the condo tonight, I put a couple fingers on it and it was still damp to the touch, which means it's taking forever to dry, which really sucks. The plus though is that I'm gonna have to put one more layer on the top of the table. That I understood. The leaf, I spray painted one of the 2 leaves just to see how it would turn out. Took my time with it, put painter's tape around the trim so I didn't get it on the trim at all. Turned out immaculate. Absolutely love it. So that won't take that long. So I should have that painted and finished painted by tomorrow. All I have to do is one more leaf and then the legs and a second coat on the top, and that's nothing. The game plan for the boxes taking stuff over, we want to take a solid amount of the stuff over. Now that the internet is basically there, I just have to set it up. That was the main thing holding me back from moving over there, because if I wanted to put up vlogs or keep going with that, I had to do it here at my parents' house. Once I actually get that set up tomorrow, I can technically do it over there. And I definitely will have faster upload and download speeds, just because everything is going to be wired. Hopefully I'll be pushing out more videos. We'll see. I'm also going to be starting streaming probably within the next week or two, so I'm very pumped about that. As far as this stuff goes, we're going to get a decent amount of this stuff over tomorrow as well as Sunday. Tomorrow is I'm going to really push and get as much done as I possibly can as far as the trim goes, and hopefully get all the trim taken care of, at least a huge majority of it. I have a feeling that I'm gonna need to go back over to Menards and pick up more trim. Fingers crossed I don't. My goal with the trim is to use that new trim that I got, that 4-inch high stuff, to use that in all of the main rooms. And the closets are going to be all the older stuff that we've ripped up. There is a huge amount of good stuff that is still usable, so I want to use those for the closets, seeing as how they're not rooms that are noticeable up front. Like, you don't just walk in and see closets, you walk in and see the main rooms first. Not to mention, I want to save as much space in the closets as I possibly can, so I don't want to go too heavy with the trim. So keeping it the light, small trim is going to make the rooms look bigger and easier to manage as far as storage. Because I'm noticing with the, like I mentioned before, I couldn't anchor the cabinet to the wall because of the baseboard being so thick. It keeps it away from the wall about a half an inch, if not more. That's where the anchoring issue lies in. With the stuff in the cabinets or the stuff in the closets, I'm not going to have a problem with any of that. I am thinking for storage of just doing a kind of like the storage shelves that you might have in a garage or a good storage area, where it's just like the metal racks, but a really nice looking one. I want to do that in my main closet going off of the office. Since a lot of my stuff is going to be stored there, I want heavy duty stuff there. So I'm thinking that's the route I'm going to take with that. We'll see. But there's a lot of planning going into this weekend, and I am tired and I don't want to think anymore. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Alright, so we got a game plan for tomorrow. The trim, I'm going to come back to my parents' house throughout the week and finish some of the trim here, take it over with me, and just knock things out as I go. The painting that I have over the stairs, we're going to hold off on that until we move all of my stuff over, which will most likely be tomorrow. And then on top of that, we went to Home Depot tonight and I got my washer dryer combo ordered as well. So that will arrive, I want to say next Monday. I think that's when we got the date set up. So I am going to have to stop over at my parents' house to do laundry like one more time. That being said, this will most definitely be my last night here living with my parents, which is going to be weird because it's been, what, I've just turned 30 this past year. So it's basically been 30 and a half years living with my parents. So it's going to be a little different. Mainly because I was in college for so long and trying to find a stable job and whatnot, so I'm definitely ready for it. I was ready for it quite a while ago. But as far as the internet goes, I will have internet hooked up tomorrow, and I do plan on working on this video. I don't think it'll be done by tomorrow night though. This video will most likely go out Monday, which I'm actually very pumped about because I want to know exactly how fast that internet is really going to be. I'm really interested to see what the speeds are going to be, seeing that I get decent speeds now and it's wireless and we're further out in the country, whereas where I'm going to be moving to is more of a closer community type thing. So it's more well known and more populated than the area I'm at now, as well as it's also going to be a wired connection, so it's probably going to be triple the amount. The last time I tried it on my mom's computer, the internet speed was almost damn near tripled what it was wirelessly. So I'm very, very pumped to see that. But signing off from here, I will see you guys at the new place in the next video. Take care and peace out.